Alright, everybody. Hey, raise your hand if you can hear me. Excellent. So that's no talking, no movement, eyes on me. Awesome. So what we discussed this morning with our warm-up was I had you guys write down 3 questions that you would ask somebody to find out what was in his or her recycling bin or trash without actually looking. So what I want to see is you guys thinking some outside-of-the-box questions that you would ask somebody in order to find this out. Alright? So we're going to start pinkies if you have an answer. Nick, what do you got?
Do you drink alcohol, soda, or water? And
Why would you ask those things?
to find out what kind of container they have for those 3 things.
So you're thinking materials as in like plastic or glass bottles or something
Yeah.
like that? That's good.
Or cans.
Alright, Charlie, what you got?
Said, do you drink alcohol? Like, are you physically active? Not even.
Okay, why would you ask physically active?
Because if, like, say they're like a football player or something, they might like drink or eat like
Healthy foods and like,
and like muscle milk and stuff.
okay. And you gotta think about the kind of containers that those things would come in, right? Okay.
Or to see if they eat cereal, things, certain things for breakfast.
So you would, how would you phrase that question? If you were gonna ask somebody, you know, saying, I'm thinking, are there cereal boxes in their trash bin? You would say, do you, when you go to the grocery store,
Do you buy cereal?
do you buy cereal? Yeah, absolutely, that's perfect. David Halicek, what you got?
Have you got your package?
Say what?
Have you got your package?
How often do you buy packages online, right? Think about that. And that all those shipping materials come in, they're packaged in styrofoam, the plastic tape, cardboard boxes, right? These are all materials that we've discussed. You know, we know the general lifespans, right? Of all our materials, which takes the longest time to break down in the landfill? Pinkies. Pinkies.
Glass bottle.
Glass bottles, absolutely. How long did it take?
A million.
1 million years for a glass bottle to break down, right? Awesome. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass out these sheets. Today what you'll be doing is creating a survey, all right? You'll be working on this individually at first, and then you're going to come together and combine your questions into teams. So, if you look up on the board, you will see the 3 things that we're talking about as far as main categories when we're creating surveys. We want to know who we're surveying, we want to know what they're asking them, but mainly we want to know why. We can't ask good questions if we don't know why we're asking them and the answers that we're seeking, right? So, what you've been doing is you wrote down 3 questions you would ask somebody, and what we're going to do is we're going to be filling out these worksheets as you create surveys to make sure that you understand the definitions and the reasoning behind why we're doing that. So, as you create a survey, if you'll look and see on your sheet, does anybody not have a sheet? All right. So if you'll look and see on your newspaper that the way that the categories are broken down is in a hierarchy status, right? So everyone lines up on the board for a second. When we're creating a survey, who are we surveying? What's the first category of people that we're looking inside the survey? In the back. People who recycle. Well, on a bigger scale than people who recycle. Society, absolutely. We want to know are the people in the organized earth, right? You got to think about it on a large scale. People on the planet are who we want to elicit responses from. So, inside society, everyone in all countries, what is the population that we would be studying in this task? We want to know, what do you guys think the population is? You know the definition of population. Someone raise your hand and tell me what you guys think the population is as far as who we're studying. Dave Halicek. So, say if we're making this survey for all Americans, right? We're an American company. We're trying to create a better way for Americans to manage their waste. population be? America. United States. Absolutely. Realistically though, can we interview every single person in America? Whether we catch them, like if we're in a mall or we're sending them emails, right? Not everyone visits the mall. Not everyone checks their emails, right? So we have to pick an audience, a select group of people that we're going to send this survey to, right? What is this called? The survey sample, right? Now, just like we can't get everyone in our population involved in the survey sample, we are going to send emails and interviews out to people, and not everyone's going to respond. What do we refer to that as? The response rate. So when you're thinking about the survey, we want to maximize our results. So we want the highest response rate. Now we know that from our response rate, we're only going to get some of our survey sample. From our survey sample, we're only going to get some of the population. From our population, we're only going to get some of society, right? So when we're making a survey, we're trying to be as broad and find out as much information as possible, as simply as possible. Because when it comes down to it, all we have to work with is our response rate. Does that make sense? So 10 questions here, guys. 10 questions. All right, what's going on, guys?
Okay.
We got 1, 2, 3, 8 questions.
Okay, so what are your 8 questions and how are they all asking different things?
Do you drink alcohol, soda, or water? That's trying to find out what kind of bottles or glasses they have.
Absolutely.
Do you buy materials?
Kelby, why don't you come in and pay attention with this group?
Do you buy materials in boxes? So like boxed pasta. Stuff.
Yeah.
Do you compost to see if they do maybe organic? What do you save from your newspaper?
So like, yeah, do you clip out coupons? So do they have a big like stack of coupons in the house? So something, let me stop you for a second. You guys, do you compost? In order for people to compost, what's the incentive for composting?
To upcycle to make better soil and
Well,
grow better.
Right, so, but if you're composting, then that means that you're also gardening, right?
Yeah.
So a way that you can find out
Do you garden?
another question that you could go to tag along with that is when we're asking people, well, they're going to kind of get their mind on the train, right? So I'm saying,
Do you buy meat at the store?
maybe, yeah, maybe,
recycling.
do you have a garden? Do you like it? What do you think about that, Kelly? Do you like gardening? Not really? No. What kind of products do you buy? What do you like? What's your favorite food? Pasta? Does your mom make pasta for you?
Can you buy a kit?
When she buys pasta from the store, what kind of box is pasta in? Mostly like cardboard, right? Cardboard and plastic. So these are things that we can see have a different life cycle than other materials, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, and some last longer. So if your mom buys pasta, what's your favorite drink? Probably something like soda in the plastic bottle. Okay, awesome. Now why don't you work with Nick here a little bit more? You guys can come up with some more ideas. So not only things that you eat or drink in the way that you get your information, right? Do you read the newspaper, or do you just go online and read the news online, right?
He says, do you save old clothes?
Do you save old clothes? I like that. You're right. That's an excellent question. Think about that, guys. Good job. All right, everybody listen. Hit me with something. I don't know. Are you allergic to anything? I like that question. Why would you ask somebody that?
I said, what's that smell?
So what's that smell? That's what you would go and ask somebody to find out what's in their trash or something?
Like cuts in the street.
So what do you think, how is what's that smell going to get you to respond something? What are you going to take? How would you scale a response if someone said, oh, that smell is smelling outside? Let's say, no, this could be a reasonable thing. You could be at someone's house and you could smell something funny. You say, what's that smell? And what if they said, oh, there's all these old eggs that we're starting to go bad. So what bird do you have? Do you have any pets? All these things. Do you have any pets?
Because if they have any pets, they have to buy dog food and cat food. And then it has something packaging now.
Just sit and packaging, right? Big bags that don't really fit right in your trash bag. I think sitting outside getting ready to Do you enjoy gardening? Gardening is an excellent piece of concept. It's kind of it's taking care of a bunch of different things for the environment as well, right? What do you got, Nathan? Okay, that's a good question. What about people? So everyone seems to be asking questions about newspapers, but the reason we have newspapers is in order to get information about the world around us, right? So what if you said?
Do you care about political?
Yeah. Say what if you said instead of do you buy newspaper, where do you get your news? Because some people might say, oh, I just get it online, but then we don't really have to worry about their waste management from, you know, an online website, right? So maybe you could generalize that and say, where do you get your news? So if you get, like, you know what I mean? You know, we're trying to elicit a response that we can scale up. All right, everybody, what are the best questions at this table?
How are you?
Do you buy that? Do you own a farm? I like that. Because farming, do you think farmers just like
do you grow your own food?
Yeah, do you grow your own food? That's what gardening is, right? Composting old foods. Do you think that's better for the environment than just taking plastic bottles and throwing away or recycling? What about? So, hey guys, hey everybody, raise your hand if you can hear me. So a lot of questions that people are asking are saying, oh, like how much do you trash? How much do you recycle certain things, right? Well, when we're thinking about that, we want to know the reasons people do things, right? So how is it that we can rephrase a question that says, because we want to know if people have newspapers. Well, everyone says, do you get a newspaper? I mean, that's pretty straightforward, but how can we generalize that?
Where do you read your news at?
Where do you read your news? Because some people could get magazines, absolutely, right? Do you guys agree that magazines are a way people get information?
Yes, sir.
Newspapers? What's another way? Josh, what do you think? What's another way, other than newspaper or magazine, what's a way people get caught up with what's going on in the world? What do you think? How do people get their news, other than a newspaper or a magazine? What's in there? What's that big thing in there? With all those machines? Computer. You guys think people use the computer nowadays more than they used to? As far as news is? Yeah, absolutely, right? Cool. So, if you don't have 10 questions, that's okay. Because what you're going to be doing now is, as a team, at your tables, the 10 best questions, the 10 most hard-hitting questions I want on one piece of paper. Your tables are your survey teams, okay? You're making a survey, a 10-question survey. All right, so now that you all have about 10, put them all together, and as an entire table, talk about the 10 best questions. So somebody on a separate sheet of paper, write down your 10 best questions at the table, all right?